Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO and encourager to homeschool families everywhere. I am determined and dedicated to helping you in this journey that you're on. Yes, I want to give you sound, educational, practical tips and advice, at the same time making sure that you're enjoying the family journey that you are on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in. Hello, my homeschooling friends. I hope you have all been doing fantastically well in the new year. It has been a good new year so far. We haven't covered much ground, but yeah, everything is going well over here in my world. The second of our 3 boys has gotten married, and I have a new daughter-in-law who is spectacular. So we've been doing lots of fun celebrating all the good things. During this start of the new semester, I've also been talking to a lot of you, a lot of moms who recently are getting geared up for the next semester. And I just have to say that some of you are so tough on yourselves. And since I like to think in analogies, I thought that in this episode I could use imagery of athletes and long runs and compare that to the homeschooling journey that you're probably on. In this analogy, just to be clear, you're the athlete and homeschooling is the long run. So curious if we have any runners out there. I did in my 40s 10 sprint triathlons. And the key word there is sprint. So these are like the short versions of triathlons because that's all I had time to even be preparing for and practicing when I was raising the boys. And a sprint triathlon is short. It's a 500-ish meter swim. It can be done in an ocean or a swimming pool. I preferred the latter. 15-mile-ish bike ride and a 5K run. And the whole point of a sprint triathlon is to sprint all of those things. Like go as fast, as hard as you can in those 3 areas. And really strong athletes set a goal of getting that done in less than an hour, which I never did, ever. But I think of homeschooling as a long race, probably the longest race of our lifetime. It's enough of a marathon to just parent our children for 18 plus years, but to then choose to be the mom and the teacher, I feel like that's more to completing an Ironman. And if you are familiar with the Ironman triathlons, those are serious. I have no plan to ever complete one. It's like a 2.5 mile swim in the ocean, over 100 miles on the bike, followed by a marathon run. I can't even imagine. I just can't. But if you do Ironmans, oh, kudos to you. That is really impressive. All right, but are you following along on this analogy? I wanted to share a little reflection I was experiencing, as I mentioned, talking to so many of you who maybe feel like you didn't quite hit the stride you hoped for last semester. And I just wanted to take this episode to talk about the fact that you're not alone. We've all been running our own race, and sometimes it does feel like we're lagging behind. I get that. But I just want to reassure you that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And now that we're starting a new semester, why not lace up those educational sneakers? Let's get you back on track or back on the track. I don't know. Either way, I just want you to picture it as this long marathon course, 26 miles. And all around you, you have these other homeschooling parents. And as you look at them, it just seems like they're gliding effortlessly ahead. I remember in my much shorter runs thinking that people ahead of me, it just seems so effortless to them. But after I did 10 different sprint triathlons, I can promise you those other athletes, they aren't doing it effortlessly. It is hard for them in their own ways, and that's for them to deal with. What's important is to, in my opinion, stop paying attention to the others that are in the race too. Instead of looking at their graceful strides and wondering how they make it look so easy, it's more important that we just remember we all are on our own journey. And every homeschooler has her own journey. Some of these people may have just started in front of you at that start line. Some could be running veterans. It is easy to get caught up in the comparison game. I get it, especially with all the social posts that you'll see. But this race is not about beating others or being better than others. It's about persevering. It's about making progress. It's about being there for our children. And to do that alongside other people in the race who are going to encourage us and inspire us, not out there to make us feel like we're inadequate in some way. I actually saw a great post on Instagram earlier this week. It had two women. They were just like giving each other this tight squeeze, just looked like these two moms, like almost holding each other up. And it said something like, if this isn't the community vibe I'm getting, it isn't my community. And I just loved it. That's who I want to run this race with. Judging ourselves and then judging others, it's just not helpful. It's not getting the race done, and it's not making the run any more enjoyable. Maybe last semester, maybe you felt like you were a few strides behind your pacing goal, or you stumbled a bit. It happens. Terrain can be unpredictable. The race itself can be challenging. But here's the thing. In a marathon, it's not the fastest person who is the only winner. It's anybody who keeps moving forward and finishes the race. It's the finishing of the race that makes it a win. That's what it always was for me in those sprint triathlons. My goal was to do better than I did in the previous triathlon. When I did my first triathlon, my hope was that I was going to do it in an hour and 15 minutes. That was my goal. And then I started actually doing all of the parts and the pieces. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, if I could do this in an hour and 45 minutes, I'll be happy. So I trained. In my first triathlon. It took me an hour and 35 minutes. And I was really proud of that. I was super proud of that. By the time I did 10, I made it down to a very memorable time. I will always remember the time because it was 1 hour and 23 minutes. 1, 2, 3. And yay me that I made it to that. I never got to 1 hour and 15 minutes, even after 10 tries. But I did improve, and that was all I was going for. It takes a lot of pressure off. And I will say, runners are a unique group of people. Not everybody gets them, just like homeschoolers are a unique group of people, and not everybody gets you. But runners have their reasons for running. I mean, I've run and swam and biked with so many people. And I will tell you, there are some out there, they were just born to run. Like, it's just natural for them. They could just run for hours. That was not me. Good for them. That was not me. Good for you if that's you. I had other friends that I met along the way, and I'd be like, so why do you run? And they're like, I just feel like it's my best health option. I don't have to join a gym, and it's a great reason for me to just have time to myself. I know it's good for me. It's just a good health option. And I did lean toward that one. That made good sense. But another reason why people do it is because it is a connection to other people. You may have friends who do it. A lot of people joined me in my triathlon journey. They didn't do all 10, but they would do a few with me just because it was a way for us to connect, a reason to get together. And so when you think about why you're homeschooling, maybe it's just your natural born thing to do. You're like, I was born to homeschool. I always knew I would homeschool my kids. Great. Others of you are like, I know it's just my best educational option for my family. That's great too. And maybe it's because you have a group of people, maybe people you met from your church, or maybe you're all at the same charter school. And so it's a connection with other families that share the same values and morals that you do. It's great. Whatever your reason is, regardless, it doesn't change the fact that just like runners or athletes of any type face exhaustion and they doubt themselves and they have to deal with setbacks and they all have moments when they question, can I go on? It's true. Athletes, homeschoolers, like this analogy is a good analogy. I really love this analogy. But the same thing holds true that the winners, and I don't mean people who come in first place, people who do it and see it through, they're set apart from others because of that determination they have, because they have the ability to endure those hardships that they're facing. They just refuse to give up. And that's what I want you to be willing to do. So if I can connect this back to the homeschooling journey, if last semester you really felt like you were lagging behind, maybe even in last place, it's okay. The important thing is not where you are right now compared to anybody else, but whether or not you're going to give up or you're going to grab some Gatorade and push on through. Hopefully, you see your cheerleader around the bend cheering for you. I always loved when my husband would bring the boys, and he would always place himself somewhere where he knew I'd be especially tired, and they'd all be there. They'd just be cheering me on. That's me for you. I'm around the bend. I'm here to encourage you, to cheer you on. Homeschooling is such an important thing in your child's life. And you do have the power to pick up the pace. Now that we're in a new semester, why not find a new rhythm? Just keep moving forward. And remember, it's not about sprinting through your educational material either. It's about the endurance to sit together, to learn, to grow. Maybe you need to plan better. Maybe you need new curriculum. I don't know what you need to start to pick up your momentum, but one thing you can do is sit down for a little bit and grab some water and list out what you did accomplish last semester, because I guarantee you made some strides. I'm sure you made some strides. What were they? What worked well? You're going to want to do more of that. At the same time, what held you back? What felt like a weight at your ankles? Maybe we need to let go of that. Think of whatever challenged you as a lesson you learned. Because as teachers, we're always learning, always learning. I'm still always learning. And your race is uniquely yours. There's beauty in every step, and even those stumbling ones allow us to learn something. I talked to a lovely mom earlier this week, and she had said they tried out a co-op in the fall. Her daughter loved it. Her daughter made a lot of friends. They went 2 days a week and it was always fun. Her daughter always looked forward to it. But what concerned the mom that I was speaking to was that the math that they did in these co-ops was below her daughter's skill level. And she said, I just don't feel like my daughter gained mathematically what she should have. And so she's making changes now. She's adding in something to change that part of their education. Another mom had emailed me, and she was letting me know that they had so much sickness and health issues in the fall that they never started the writing program that they purchased from me, which was back in September. But she was excited to say, but we're starting now. It's January. There were several months. It was all I could do to just get the most basic things done, but we're super excited because we're starting now. And that's what it looks like. That's what adjusting our stride looks like. That's what finding our pace looks like and fueling up for this next leg. I know you would tell your children to keep on going, and you need to give yourself that same pep talk. You have the strength within you to pull ahead. We're going to make this race one that you're going to be proud to finish, and the finish line at this point could still seem distant. It is there. It's patiently waiting for you. And it's your race, so you get to run it in a way that makes the most sense. If you need to slow down and walk for a little while, go ahead and walk. If you get a burst of energy and you just want to race hard and fast, do that little sprint from time to time. But just remember, this isn't just any race. The best part about your homeschooling race is that you're running it with your children and building family bonds, a team that's bound by love and learning and a shared pursuit of knowledge. And by the way, if writing is one of the things that fell by the wayside, I want to remind you that I can help. That's the one area that I can really cheer you on. We have a great writing program that focuses on academic writing skills. We teach persuasive and expository and narrative writing, and we do it in a community, which makes it really fun. So just know that our program is built in a way that you can join at the time that's best for you. So if you're like, I should have picked your program in the fall, why not pick it now? You can pick it now. It's January, maybe it's February when you're listening to this, or March. It's not too late. If right now is the time you're hearing about this, then I want you to jog on over to my website. And why don't you come and check things out? I would love it if you did. My website is writeonweb.com, WRITEONWEBB.com. Come see what we have that may interest you. And you can always find me over on Instagram and Facebook. So reach out if you are looking for a cheerleader. I am here for you. Right on. Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing, freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.